Are you gonna be? Say that you're gonna be. Standing still in love with me. Are you gonna be? Say you're gonna be. Are you gonna be? Say you're gonna be. Are you gonna be? Say you're gonna be. Well, 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 well. Still in love, so in love, still in love with me. Are you gonna be? Say you're gonna be. Are you gonna be? Say you're gonna be. Are you gonna be? Say you're gonna be. Well, 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 well. Are you gonna be? Say that you're gonna be. Well, 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 well. Are you gonna be? Say that you're gonna be. Well, well, still in love. Well, 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 well. Are you gonna be? Say that you're gonna be. Standing still in love with me. Are you gonna be? Say you're gonna be. Are you gonna be? Say you're gonna be. Are you gonna be? Say you're gonna be. Well, 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 well. Still in love, so in love, still in love with me. Are you gonna be? Say you're gonna be. Are you gonna be? Say you're gonna be. Are you gonna be? Say you're gonna be. Well, 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 well. Yeah. Are you gonna be in love with me? I want you and need you to be. Yeah. Still in love, still in love with me. Are you gonna be? Say that you're gonna be. Well, 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 well. Are you gonna be? Say that you're gonna be. Well, well, still in love. Well, 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 well. Are you gonna be? Say that you're gonna be. Standing still in love with me. Are you gonna be? Say you're gonna be. Are you gonna be? Say you're gonna be. Are you gonna be? Say you're gonna be. Well, 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 well. Still in love, so in love, still in love with me. Are you gonna be? Say you're gonna be. Are you gonna be? Say you're gonna be. Are you gonna be? Say you're gonna be. Well, 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 well.
Fineaswine, my partner Rolynns. Today we have a special live. We have been letting you guys know that we're expecting to have Leolah Brown on the show. That's the sister of Bobby Brown. She's here. There's some things she wanted to, mention and talk about. Some very important things. She's showing love. We're showing love back to her. She's a beautiful spirit, a beautiful lady. And I officially, there's anything you want to say, Bobby, before we get started?
Yes, I just wanted to thank everyone for taking time out of their very busy schedules. Okay. And we just talked to Leolah, Brown. And welcome. And she's excited to come and spend this time with us. Okay.
Yes, we are pleased to introduce you guys.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I am wonderful by the grace of God.
Yes. We're so glad to have you. We would like to welcome you to the Chef Fineaswine as well as the Rolynns Reviews YouTube channels. Uh,
Yes.
our subscribers have been waiting for you fervently. And
That's right.
yes, we told them that you were going to come and share some info with them
Yes.
because we know Whitney was the greatest
Oh
singer
yes.
ever known to man. We know that.
Right.
And, you know, we hear a lot of things in the press, and you really don't know if something is true, if it's not. So, you know, if you can get some firsthand type of things that you can hear, you know, people who've actually had a relationship with that person and who really knew the person, not someone picking something off the wall because they're trying to sell a newspaper, what have you.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's
So we
right.
do appreciate you coming and being
Yes.
so, you know, forthcoming and so candid with us. We all love Whitney Houston, and
Yes.
we just want to know a little bit more about her because there's so many, you know, uh, things that have been said.
I
Uh,
know.
and I think you and I are in the, you and me, we're in the same age. I'm a Generation Xer. So, as I explained to my partner, we didn't have the internet until we were in our 20s.
No,
So, yeah,
technology is up.
it's up. It's up. So, all we had was Star and Globe and Inquirer, and we didn't know what was going on. So,
That's
we
right.
know you have firsthand accounts, you know, for all the years that you were around Whitney Houston. And so,
Right.
my partner's gonna go ahead and get it started. And people in the chat section are saying hello and they're offering you love and adulation.
Hi, and love to every. I want to first say thank you, you guys, for inviting me because it's very important to me. For other people, some other people, it's
Right.
entertainment, and this is very serious. It's a very serious and sensitive issue for me. So you know, these are my family members we're talking about. We're talking
Right.
about loss of life being taken
Exactly.
away from us. So this is very serious to me. And you just stated in a few minutes ago that you know you wanted to talk to somebody that knew Whitney. Not only am I eager to speak out for my sister, but I'm willing to bring the truth. See, that's a difference. You know,
Right.
many people want their 5 minutes of fame and they want to jump in the media and say something, but they're not saying the right thing. They're only going to tell you all these movies out on Whitney and all this stuff. I mean, they're giving people what they have first instilled in their minds about the idea of how Whitney was killed, and you know,
Right.
and they're running with it, and they're feeding people lies. And so
Exactly.
here I am, a not being imperfect, but
Right.
a soldier for God in this hour because it's so important. I am here because I want to show people that when you say you believe in God, you have to really mean that and stand on it because you're going to be tried.
Yes, you
You're
are.
going to be tried. This is my trial.
Right.
Everybody has their own trials. This is mine. My family members being taken away from me. So I have to stand and
Yes.
I have to speak the truth. So to everybody looking at this and watching this today, I want you to know that no matter what you have to do in this life, if you say that you believe in God, God is going to try you and you will get the chance. You know, life is like school. You know, we get report cards from
Right.
God.
We
You
do.
understand? And if you don't do the right thing, when it's time for you to do the right thing, then guess what? You either gonna get an A, B, C, D, or E. And I'm trying to get an A with God. That's all. But at the same time, I have to be careful because I believe in Islam. I'm a Muslim, but that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't. Christian, Muslim, and I hate to bring up religion. It's not about, religion is division to me. So it's not about that. But at the same time, you have to stand on truth. You have to. I don't care what you do in this life. You have to stand on truth. And so my mission is to be that vessel in this earth where I stand and I do things to make a difference. I'm not speaking out against those that I believe killed Whitney in a way where I feel like this is retaliation. No, that's not this kind of party. And I want people to understand that. I'm speaking out because I want us as a people to get help in this country. We have to get help. We cannot sell our souls and think that, the industry or any means that you have to get money to, your livelihood or whatever, if you believe in God and be prepared to be tried, because he's not going to allow us to become to lie and live on like that, telling lies, saying that we believe in God, but really and truly you don't. Because if you did, you would stand on truth and not fear anything but God. So that's why I'm here. I'm that vessel.
We definitely we are lovers of Whitney, Leolah. And I was driven to speak with you after, your interviews that you had done. I was driven to speak with you based upon my experience that I told you that I had experienced. So it was very vital that I speak with you out of the love for Whitney. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad that you can come on here and kind of clear the air on questions that people may have, concerns about everything. You do have an upcoming book coming out. Can you tell us when that book will be released?
I can't give you a date, but I can tell you this. It is soon. It's within a matter of days. The book has been ready. There's another book coming out after that. I'm going to tell you all everything that's been going on and what has really stopped me from actually putting that book right out. But the book is on the way out. It is. It won't be long.
Okay, that's so good to hear. We are lovers of Bobby Brown. I just want to put that out there too. We love his music.
Thank you.
How was it growing up with your brother, Bobby?
Oh, wow. It was beautiful. I mean, just like any other family.
Right.
My mother had 8 children altogether. 2 of our brothers passed away. They would have been older than Bobby and I. But it's Tommy, Tina, me, Bobby, and then my younger sister, Carol. Bobby was actually born right after me. He's right after me. I'm like in the middle
like a
right
year
now.
Apart. Okay.
I'm the baby in the family.
Oh, okay.
The baby.
No,
I want to say you're very strong. You're very strong.
Thank
You're
you.
outspoken. You speak your mind. I'm attracted to people like that. I speak my mind all the time,
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about the Bobby Kristina Brown Foundation?
From what I know, and with all due respect, everybody knows how I feel about my brother's wife. I will say it. I will go to my grave saying it. Somebody sent that woman in to divide and conquer my family. And what has happened is that, her and Bobby started this foundation. But Bobby is the type of man that, he wasn't really paying attention to everything his wife was doing. He left it in her hands to, do whatever, as far as the business goes and to, put the documentation together and represent the Bobby Kristina Foundation properly. But what she did was she had her father, her family members, and all of them. I mean, my son is the first person that actually found this stuff out. He said, Mommy, look at this. Uncle Bobby's name is not nowhere on this. There's a person, there's some people in California. Thank you. That's much better. There's some people in California that have been, telling me a lot of things. They've been around Bobby and around his wife. And I don't think she'll be upset to speak her name. She's an ex-dancer of my brother's. Her name is Qleen. She used to dance for Bobby. Right. So she was the first person that was calling me in the beginning, telling me things about my brother. And she would say different things like, I think, Bobby is being poisoned. And I'm like, what? She said, this girl is doing something with him. And she sent us, I said, because one thing you're not going to do is call my phone with anything, bring me some proof, first of all. Right. So, she was talking to me and my sister, who's also James Brown's sister. We were talking on the phone one day and she sent us pictures. And she said, I was here and your brother, we were sitting at the table. Bobby walked out. He was on about 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And he came back in. She said, no longer than an hour. And his whole, everything was just totally different. And he started crying. She said he was cool in the beginning until Alicia came in, got him up from the table, walked him outside. They stayed out there for a while. And they left and came back. And she said that she sent me the pictures, the before and after of my brother. And that's when I started going crazy. I said, wait a minute, something ain't right with this. But that was the beginning of my investigating my brother's wife with the poisoning stuff. That was the beginning of that. Now, there's a lot of things that I can't say right now. Right. A lot of evidence and stuff that I have. But yes. She's representing the Bobby Kristina Foundation as if it is hers and her family's without my brother involved. Now, let me say this and why I am so concerned, because she's never been there for Bobby Kristina. She never liked Bobby Kristina. That was no secret. She made that no secret. When Whitney died and Bobby Kristina went into the hospital, I mean, we have to look at this straight up. As a woman, you're a woman, Lynn. Right. Chef Fineaswine. Now, if you got a wife and you got a child that's in the hospital, are you going to keep your husband from his child? I mean, she just lost her mother. She just lost her mother. And it seemed very suspicious to me that when Bobby Kristina was in the hospital and then she was forced to go in hospice, and listen to my language because I mean everything that I'm saying. She never visited Bobby Kristina, and then she made sure Bobby stayed out of the hospital and out of hospice. Bobby Brown wasn't even on tour for a while. We all know that. Bobby didn't even have an album out for a long time. And then all of a sudden, he's on tour when Chrissy's in the hospital. This is Alicia. This is his wife doing this, keeping him away from her. She kept him away from her while Chrissy was in the hospital and when she was in hospice. Oh, wow. So that to me. I mean, come on. When a child needs her father, she needs him at this time. But Alicia didn't care nothing about that, nothing. So that's why I'm looking at everything. I'm looking at everything. Right. Yes, that is my brother's life. That is his wife. But when you are in this family and you have ill intentions and you have a sick and wicked agenda, don't expect nobody to stand down and allow you to do the things that you all are doing. Yeah. That's wrong. That's wrong. I mean, I can go on and on about the things that she has done. Yes. So when you ask me about Bobby Kristina's foundation, that's my answer. You know, it's all about the money. They want to pocket money off of this. They, you know, they want to inherit all the money that they can from Bobby Kristina's name, Whitney's name,
Right.
brother Bobby's name. And I pray that my brother is looking at this right now, because I intend, first of all, when I do another video, I'm going to do part 2 of my last one that I did where I got cut off. I didn't have enough space on my phone, so it shut me off. But I'm coming back with part 2. And then I am going to, I have a personal video for my brother, because they're plotting his life right now as we speak, you all.
Oh,
They
wow.
are plotting to kill my brother. Yes, his wife. They don't know that I know, but just within the last few days, his wife has fired everybody that works for my brother. Everybody that works for Bobby. She's
Wow.
fired. Yes, and I know why. I know why. My brother has to wake up. He has to wake up, because they're coming for him. Yes, they're coming for him, and they expect him to be next. Mm-hmm.
We definitely don't want nothing to happen to Bobby. That's for real, for real.
Right.
We offer and send our condolences to the family as a whole,
Yes,
Browns and the Houstons. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
My partner, did you want to go ahead and ask me all?
Well, yeah, I just wanted to ask, you know, who do you hold responsible so far as Whitney's demise? Okay, because you know there's so many stories that are circulating. Like you know what's going on with Bobby. I'm sure you were privy to you know a lot of the nefarious activities that were taking place around Whitney as well.
Yes. Well, I hold everybody that was around Whitney at that time responsible, mainly Pat and Gary Houston. Those two right there, they are responsible for the death of Whitney. Yes. And I also hold Whitney's security. I mean, he's got to come forward and say something, because the one thing my sister Whitney never deviated from was security. And anytime
Right.
Whitney went out of town, anytime she went out of town, she would have 2 security men. Everybody knows this. She never deviated from that. And you would have to be at her door 12 hours each, doing a 12-hour shift. Now, when she was in Atlanta, or you know, if she goes
Right.
somewhere close to home, she'd have 1 man. But with her being away like that in California, she had to have 2 guys. And I heard she had 2, but the other guy, he's even dead.
Oh wow.
Gone. He died a few months ago. Yes, he's
Wait,
said
Leolah, who died?
one
Who
of
died?
the guys that are in question, whom and to make it more clear, this was a very good friend of mine that I brought in the family and introduced to the family. So when Bobby and Whitney divorced, he was still coming around them. And I heard that he was one of the people that was there as security for Whitney during the time of her death. So I tried to reach out to him, and I did reach out to him, and I got a chance to talk to him. But he's dead now. He's dead.
Oh wow.
Yes.
So
There's a lot of people gone that you all have no clue about. That Bobby Kristina's friends. I mean, I can go on and on. Nick. I mean, but Nick is responsible. Now, Nick beat Bobby Kristina down in her own living room. He
right.
beat Bobby Kristina into that coma. He beat her. But I think, and I believe, and I feel, and I will go to my grave with it, that Pat Houston, he did that by her direction. I believe that she recruited Nick into the family, because none of us knew Nick. First of all, let's get
Right.
that straight. None of us knew who Nick was, and he never. They had a story out. The media had this story. They were spinning this story that he was living with Whitney and Chrissy and was brought up with. That was all a lie. No, we never even knew him. So we knew that, Whitney, one thing Whitney always told us, she said, I don't care what you hear in the media about me. She said, always know that it is Pat. She said, whenever you hear something, it's
Whoa.
Pat. She said, it's Pat Houston. Ask anybody in my family. My sister will tell you that. Whitney told us that out of her own mouth. If you ever hear anything that don't sound right, she said it's Pat, because Pat has friends in the industry with the media that will say things, but yeah, I blame Pat Houston and I blame Gary. Now, one of the biggest questions that I know that everybody has, they say, well, how are the Houstons allowing Pat to do this? Everybody wants that question answered. And it is very simple. First of all, when you go back and you look at how Pat entered the Houston family, first of all, when Whitney first met her, Whitney had to have her security escort Pat off of her bus, her tour bus. Pat had been following, just coming around and making herself, just inviting herself on Whitney's tour bus and stuff. And then finally, Whitney was like, who is this woman? Why are you here every time I turn around? Get off my tour bus. But Whitney's mother, and before I say what I'm going to say, I don't want anybody out here disrespecting Mama Sissy Houston.
Right.
Don't do that. Don't do that. She is our elder mother, and I demand respect for her. I do.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, end of the day, I respect all of my elders. But at the same time, nobody is God but God. You understand what I'm saying? And I have a duty by him to speak the truth, so I must do that. But I don't want anybody to have any negative feelings towards her. And I say this in my book as well, because I'm releasing a lot and I'm revealing a lot. But we don't know. We were not there in the beginning when she was raising Whitney.
Right.
We were not there. We were not there. And we don't know the mindset that she was in. And all the things that happened to Whitney, and we don't know. So I'm asking everybody to respect her mother, because even you and I, we've done some things in the past that we are not happy about, and we get on our knees today and ask God to forgive us for. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
You're right.
So that's where that's why I'm saying, we can't judge her. I'm not here to do that. I do not want to judge her, but at the same time, we have to speak truths, and we have to say, hey, at some point, this has to stop. I believe it was a thing where Mama Sissy, she kind of trusted Pat, because she brought Pat in that family. That, make no mistake about it, her mother brought Pat in. And Gary was actually married to a beautiful, beautiful sister, Monique Houston. Monique had 2 children by Gary. They were married, and they were going through whatever they were going through. But whatever they were going through, they could have worked it out had Pat not been in there. And oh gosh, there's some things that I'm saying in my book about that. Where you all will understand that more clearly. But Pat was basically pushed into that family and placed there as a watchdog for Whitney's mother. And it got so bad. And then she kind of, got Gary and Pat together, and then they got together. But and they're married, but Gary is not a Houston. And that's what everybody needs to know. He's not. He has a different father than Whitney. And his last name is Garland.
Right.
Why he changed his name to Houston, that's a story in itself, but I'm explaining that too in my book.
Right.
A lot on that. And
So John was not his father.
My opinion, I think that him and his wife, Pat, they've been following Whitney, oh my God, for forever. And this is why I call it a premeditated murder, because they had this idea in their head years ago, and they followed Whitney. They were always right there. You ever heard that saying, throwing rocks and hiding your hand?
Right.
That's
I've heard
them.
that.
I have to.
That's them. They've done a lot to Bobby and Whitney's relationship, a lot. And Whitney, at the last minute, Whitney realized all together the whole thing, and she was coming back. And she said, she wanted her marriage back with my brother. She wanted, and God is my witness, Whitney asked Bobby to remarry her. Yes, that is absolutely true.
Wow.
I was on the phone with Bobby, and Whitney called in, and he said, hold on a minute. This is after their divorce. He said, hold on a minute. He said, that's Nip. And I said, oh, go ahead, answer. He answered. He was gone for about maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes. He came back. I held on because I wanted to know what she was calling him for.
Right.
He said, she's asking me to marry her again. I said, do it. I ain't marrying her again. Nah, she shouldn't have divorced me. I said, Bobby, so what? None of us are perfect. You're not perfect. She ain't perfect. I said, maybe this time around, y'all will be better. I said, go ahead and do it. And he kept saying no. But at the last minute, he said yes. And they had sat.
Oh, he said yes? Wow.
I'm giving you all this. Then this is in the book, but this is going to be your special for the day.
Thank you.
He said yes. And so they took Bobby Kristina to dinner, and they revealed 2 weeks before they killed Whitney.
I seen the pictures. I seen the pictures at that dinner.
They were going to get married again. So they were getting ready to make the big announcement, but Whitney's found in the hotel. And this is why I say they had Whitney's phones tapped. They were following her, and they knew everything she was doing. They did not want her to get married to Bobby again, because the Brown family was a security blanket for Whitney. And they didn't want that. They had already got them separated, so that was a success for them. No more Bobby and Whitney. They didn't want that to happen again. And that's why they didn't let my sister out of that damn hotel.
Wow.
So much stuff went on at that Beverly Hilton that night, and they did not want Whitney to get. Why do you think when Pat was doing the interview with Oprah, and I don't care what nobody says, Oprah don't believe her. If you go back and look at that video, Oprah was looking at her like
side-eyed.
Yeah, I just walked. I was just walking slowly, and I'm like, who does that?
Right.
Who does that? You knew what was going on with her in that room. But I know what you all were doing, and I know why. And I know why you walked slow. I'm talking about it in the book, and I can't wait to release this book. I'm tired. I want this book out of my ear. Seriously, I'm so tired. I want to hurry up and get this book out. Yes. So, yeah, that is the reason. I hope I answered that about why Pat is able to do what she's able to do, because everybody knows that Mama Sissy is the matriarch in that family.
Right.
Everybody knows that. You don't do nothing without the permission of Mama Sissy. Sissy Houston is a strong woman. She's yes. And she's not going to let much get by her unless she approves it. So yes, she approved that. And she just didn't trust her sons. But there's somebody else on the back side of it. They sit way in the back, but they are another big reason why Whitney didn't leave that hotel too. And that's Donna Houston. See, these are the in-laws. Donna Houston stays behind the scenes. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Her and Pat are close. They're very close. And Donna Houston is the person that's responsible. She was responsible for like paying Bobby Kristina's phone bills, making sure that they change. And people want to know why, how come I couldn't get to my niece? Because every time I got her number, they would change it. They worked night and day to keep the Brown family from grabbing Chrissy after the death of Whitney. Oh, yes, they made it very hard. That's why I was speaking out on social media, trying to get to Chrissy, saying, Chrissy, listen to me. You got to get away from them. And she answered me. She answered me back through Facebook. But then after that, they changed her number. And then that happened to her. So I have always tried to get my niece away from them. Yes.
So what was their motivation? Why were they so adamantly trying to keep Whitney and Bobby away from each other? How was that a threat to them? I mean,
Well, that was just a part of their plan because their whole idea was to grab Whitney's estate.
That part.
And Whitney was worth more dead than alive.
Right.
To them. You
That's
understand what I'm
thinking.
saying?
Right. That's what I was thinking. I just wanted to hear you say it. That's what I was thinking.
She was worth more dead than alive. And I mean, and then if you look at it, Whitney was doing her best to stay clean. She had gotten clean and was really trying. That shows you how much they hated her. You know, you're not even going to allow her to now she's clean coming back. And you would still do that to her? You would still set her up to get murdered. Okay. It's all about her money, her estate. And they did not want Bobby Kristina to be left with it because she's a Brown. You understand?
Yes.
It's simple. They did not want her share, you know, I don't know what ideas they thought of that we don't ask nobody. I don't ask nobody for nothing. I live in a mansion. Okay. I got my own home, my own house. And right. I am very independent. I don't ask nobody for nothing. But this Bobby didn't buy my home. No, I got this on my own. Anything that I have on my own. So if they had that idea that some Bobby Kristina, we wanted her money, no, you know. And that's another thing I wanted to talk about. They tried to make our family look like we were those kind of people, but no, they are. Yeah. Whitney took care of her family. Bobby didn't. I was on Bobby's payroll, but I worked hard to be on his payroll. I was his backup singer. You understand what I'm saying? That's when I got a paycheck from my brother. I was his backup singer. You know, and then Whitney hired me. I didn't ask for that job. She literally begged me to work with her. And I didn't even want her to pay me when she said, no, I got to get you. I'm going to make sure you are paid. I said, Nippy, you ain't got to give me no money. I'll be here for you. And that's on God. God is my witness to that. So, you know, they tell a lot of lies about us and, you know, money hungry, this and money hungry. I got my own money.
Right.
Okay. And yes, I was on Whitney's payroll, but because she wanted me on her payroll, that's why. But I worked hard for anything that I have today. I have worked my fingers to the bone for.
What years, Leolah, did you work for Whitney? Can you clarify that? What years?
I worked for Whitney in I started working in 05, 04 or 05. 2005. Yep, 2005. I was on her payroll. 2006, I was on her payroll. Yes.
Mm-hmm. What do you really think that happened to Whitney and Bobby Kristina? Because
I believe that their murders were plotted out by Whitney's family. When I say family, I mean her sister-in-law, Pat, and Gary. And I believe they recruited Nick. And I'm not going to leave out Ray J. I'm not going to leave out Raffles. I'm not going to leave out Brandy Burnside. I mean, all these people are people that Pat was talking to and recruiting and paying them to actually do things for her when it came to Bobby Kristina and Whitney. Oh, Pat is a very wicked person, you all. Very wicked, very cleverly wicked woman. And I mean, she's done some things that she'd be a fool if she did not repent with God. Pat Houston would be a fool. She knows I'm telling the truth about her, but I'm not going to sit here and call her a bunch of names because she knows how I feel about her. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But at the end of the day, to those of you that think we should let Whitney Houston rest and Bobby Kristina rest, they're not going to rest until my book is out and the truth is out here. Then, because if they're not going to get justice properly by the authorities, then damn it, they're going to get justice with me putting my book out.
So do you think that, the authorities may ever, decide to reopen the case, or did they just, okay, case closed, that's it on both murders?
I'm not sure, but I have made peace with God just in case they don't. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
I have made peace with my Father and said, well, let me do what it is that God wants me to do. And then my hands are, I'm done with it. You understand?
Yes.
I am going to put my book out so that I did the best that I could do by putting the book out, giving the truth to the world, and I'll let God handle it from there. Because let me tell you something. I don't care if they did open it. If they didn't reopen it, God is the last judge.
Always.
He's the last judge, and he will give justice will be served with him. It will be.
Exactly.
Yeah, it will be.
And I and that's what I say. I say the same thing. No one truly gets away with anything. Everything, I believe, everything you release into the environment, you get it back and then some. So
exactly,
it's not even worth it.
No.
I understand what you're saying, because I often wondered, and I won't call her name. We all know who I'm talking about. How a person who doesn't do drugs, and this makes no sense. A person who does not do drugs marries one of the biggest drug users there is. That made no sense to me.
Pat?
Right.
Well, I don't know if she's never done drugs. I don't know if she's never done drugs. But if you ask me, in my opinion, I don't think she does drugs today. But right, why would you? And I mean, it's a situation where she supports his habit every day.
Will you continue to fight? Will you continue to fight, Leolah, for your sister Whitney Houston?
Will I continue
to fight for your
Whitney.
sister Whitney?
Of course, I'm doing it now. Of course.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And we are glad that you do, because we love Whitney. And her death was very sketchy to all of us. Very sketchy, and there's answers that we're still looking for. So, I definitely appreciate you being here and kind of clearing the air and answering some questions that we may have.
Exactly.
And
I think her
support the
friends in the industry should come forward too, because they know a lot, but they won't say anything. People are scared of losing their jobs. They're scared of losing their contracts and different things that they have. But that just goes to show you. That's why I don't like it when people, they say out their mouth that, I believe in God. You don't believe. Because the one thing that God asks you to do, and he asks all of us, do not fear nothing but me. And when you put somebody before God, then you're not a believer in God. No. No. You give your all when it comes to, you don't fear anybody. What can somebody do to you? What can they do? They can't do much to you. They can kill your body, but they can't take your soul. God has control over your soul.
Facts.
Facts.
At least I would like to think he does.
So, is your book going to be released in various formats? So, hardback, Kindle.
The first release will be digital.
Okay, digital,
Digital. It'll be an audio,
audio. Okay,
audio
okay.
digital copy. And
Thank you for that.
then the hard and soft backs will be right behind it.
Audio.
What
Okay.
are 3 things, Leolah, and we're going to respect our guest time, because definitely her time is very important. But we have one more question that we're going to ask you, Leolah. If you could go back in time, what are 3 things that you would tell your younger self?
My younger self?
Mhm.
Oh God, if I could go back in time, I would I wish I had the knowledge I have today. But if I had to go back in time, what would I tell myself? What would I tell myself? In reference to what? What are you trying to?
Life in general.
I mean,
what would I tell myself if I can go back?
Tell your younger self.
You know what? I used to say that if I could go back, I would change some things, but I don't think the only thing that I would change, see, in order for you to understand, you would have to know my life. And I'm actually getting ready to do a documentary on my life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're in the process of trying to do that. But I used to regret some of the things that I went through in life, but I don't. Because if I didn't go through it, I probably wouldn't be the strong woman I am today.
Right.
So to answer your question, I mean, I would change some things, of course, some of the horrific things I went through.
Yes.
But yeah, I think I would probably be closer to God a little bit sooner.
Oh, good point. Wow.
I would be closer to God sooner because it took me up until, and I mean, when I was younger, I knew that God was with me. You know, I used to go in the room, close the door, and pray and talk to him and ask him things, and then he would show me things. And but I would, yeah, most definitely, I think I would want to get to God sooner. But I wouldn't change much because now that I'm older, I believe that, you know, I have an understanding that you go through things in life so that it makes you a better person.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? But we go through things by the decisions that we make as we journey.
That's right.
As we journey and as we go down the path, the decisions that we make, we are responsible for. So
Facts.
we have some questions in the chat about when Leolah's book is going to be released. She's not able to reveal that right now,
I think
but
in a
when
few
she
days.
does, we will be supporting that. Hopefully, able to promote it over here on our network, our channel.
Yes.
We appreciate you, Leolah, face to face. I'm so glad that we've met. Your beautiful spirit, beautiful soul.
Thank you.
And we love that you're fighting for Whitney and Chrissy and Bobby Jr. We love that.
Yeah. Keep up the fight. Don't give up.
Yes. Okay. I won't.
Thank you so much.
Shout out to everybody. Yes, no problem. You're welcome here anytime. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Thank you so much for supporting us and Leolah Brown, especially. We're so glad that we have you.
Did anybody have any questions?
Yeah, there are a few questions for you. I'll let my partner pick some out.
Okay, I've answered one. One was when the expected book release, and I think you said a few days.
It's a matter of days, yes. And okay. I can't give a specific date, but I can tell you this. It's not anything major we're waiting on. It's very simple things that we got to get over. And then boom, I'm going to announce it to everybody. So just give me some time. Be patient because God has really guided us with this. This is in his time. And you have no idea the times that I was getting ready to just push it out. And then bam, God showed me something else. And I said, oh God, I'm so glad I didn't push the book out. And I had to add something in it. So this is all by the direction of God. Believe that.
Okay, I have a question for you
Yes.
from TC. I have heard over the years that Dionne Warwick was a cousin and then an aunt. What was Whitney's real relationship to Dionne, and was it a good relationship?
Oh, of course it was. Whitney loved
Yeah.
Dionne. Dionne Warwick is a beautiful soul. She's a beautiful vessel. Whitney loved her. I have never heard one single bad word about Dionne, nor Whitney's cousin Dee Dee, the one that Pat and Gary said molested Gary and Whitney.
Right.
All that stuff is not true. No, please believe me. That is not true. That came from Gary and Pat, and why they did that, I have no idea, but it is not true. No, Dee Dee was a beautiful person to Whitney, and every time Whitney said her name out her mouth, she had a smile on her face. So Dee Dee and Dionne are two people that I am absolutely sure of that Whitney loved dearly.
And I read Robin Crawford's book.
M. Shantae.
And she said the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I read Robin Crawford's book. She said the same thing.
Yep.
Essentially.
Robin knows. Robin was close to Whitney.
Wow.
This M. Shantae says, can you ask Leolah what role did Whitney's friend Robin play in this, if any?
Playing what?
I can kind of answer that.
No, what role did Robin have in what?
Yeah, I really want to know, because I don't think Robin had a role in anything. She was a dear friend of Whitney's, and I think that's
a role in her murder.
She wasn't even around. Yeah,
we have to clarify that question. Clarify that question, M. Shantae, whoever asked that, so that we
what
can
is she
get some
talking about?
clarity.
Does Robin have a role in what? Because Robin was there. Robin was a person that, and I kind of wish she was with Robin instead of Pat at that time, and she might have been safer, because
exactly.
Robin was a friend of Whitney's, not somebody that would kill Whitney.
Exactly.
Very much.
Kiki Beauty said, I know you said you used to sing back up to Bobby Brown. Just wanted to know if you're still singing or making music. That's a good question.
Well, I have a studio in my home.
Wow.
My sons, they're always in the studio working. I have a beautiful studio here.
Right.
And my son's album is dropped on, as a matter of fact, my son's album drops on the 11th of November.
Wow.
Yes.
If one of my mods,
but I sing. I'm sorry, I sing. I've sung for Bobby, and I've sung backup for him. When you guys see my documentary, you will learn a lot about me. In the beginning of my life and Bobby's life, to be honest, I was actually the very first person in my house that was doing entertainment when it came to us, the siblings. I was a singer and a dancer, and I was, traveling around the city doing talent shows. I never lost a talent show.
Wow.
Never lost a talent show. Bobby and I were doing shows together, and the show came up at the Strand Theater, but it said that you couldn't be a solo artist. You had to have a group. They wanted groups only. So that's when Bobby went and formed, because Bobby was a solo and I was a solo. And Bobby went and put the New Edition together.
Right.
And I never put a group together, even though I had two backup dancers. I was a lead singer in my group. But at that time, I just didn't do it with them. And Bobby went on to do the Strand and won. But yeah, we both were out doing songs. And Bobby and I used to do shows every Sunday at this place called the Hi-Hat. And I would do shows on the summer thing. And Bobby pursued his career. He was very serious. I'm the black sheep in the family. I ran away from home at 14 years old. So 14, 15, I left home. So all that stuff's in my book. But yeah, I went in a whole other direction. Bobby pursued his career and became very successful.
Right. Another
Yeah.
question. Why did Whitney hire? I was also curious about this as well. Why?
Mm.
This is from Lucius. Why did Whitney hire Pat as her assistant in the first place? Leolah, I remember you saying that Whitney wasn't very fond of Pat anyway.
She wasn't. And let me tell you this. After Bobby and Whitney's divorce, when I was working with Whitney, but I had gotten married and my husband did not want me working no more. And he asked me to please not work for Whitney. And he met with me and Whitney. And he talked to Whitney and said, I don't want my wife here because that means she has to be here. So him and Whitney were like, Whitney's pulling me this way, he's pulling me this way. And then Whitney said, okay. She said, I'm gonna miss my sister. I want her here. But I went with my husband to please him. And after that, Bobby and Whitney, they divorced. So Whitney's left with nobody. I mean, she had nobody. And her mother, she didn't. Her mother placed Pat and said, here, because they didn't. Let me tell you something about the Houstons. Not only Whitney, but her mother, not only her mother, but Whitney either. Whitney didn't like taking a chance with hiring somebody new that she didn't know. You understand what I'm saying? If it makes any sense.
It does.
Being her sister-in-law, even though she wasn't fond of her, she took her anyway. And, she has to keep food on her brother's table. Because that's the thing with Sissy. Well, she's in the family, your brother got to eat. Let Pat come with you and get a check so that she can get a check for Gary. And, this is what they put on Whitney. So Whitney accepted her to go with her, but Whitney was not fond of her. Please believe me, she wasn't.
Wow.
And
So
that's it. That's why she was there. That is why Pat was there.
So Whitney knew all along. Because she was an intelligent person.
Pat was not her manager.
And so Whitney knew. You can feel you can tell if someone likes you or not. So Whitney was aware of all that. You're right. She did have a lot on her because I read Robin Crawford's book and a couple of other books, and I was like, wow, I did not know she was under a lot of strain.
She was. Whitney was under a lot of stress, and I'm going to say this. It all started years ago when her mother, because see, people don't understand. Sissy made the decisions in the family. She signed Whitney's contract in the beginning when Whitney was a young girl. Sissy made a pact with Clive. She signed her daughter to Clive. And, when Whitney became of age, I don't even think that there was much that she could change because her mother had already locked her in so much.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I found that out in my reading. And it's, Clive Davis, is like a Svengali. And what are your feelings on him as his relationship to Whitney? And of course, knowing, about some of the struggles that she was having.
Well, oh God, I just, I don't know. As far as love or did Clive love Whitney? Nah. I think that Whitney was just an artist to him. She was just another artist. And you understand what I'm saying? I mean, we're not loved. I can remember my mother being on the phone with somebody from MCA Records, arguing with them and telling them they had said something about, we love Bobby. My mother said, let me tell you something right now. Don't you ever tell me you love my child. You don't love my child. I love him. I'm his mother. So, the industry, the music industry is a very, very, that's why I tell people you have to, if you have to really understand it, and before you get into it, know what you are doing, because it's a dirty game.
It is very dirty.
It's a very dirty game. And if you don't understand it, it's so many backstabbers, so many, and you never know who's who.
Nope.
You never know,
Yes.
but you will know by their actions.
By their
You
actions, yeah.
understand? You'll know by people's actions and what they do. You know, when they said Whitney's body laid in that hotel and they partied on and they didn't stop, they just kept going. That says a lot in itself, right?
Exactly.
There. She not that important that
Right.
you just go and give your respect. Hold it. Let's hold the party for a moment and let's go see about our girl. That didn't happen. So, no.
I was so broken up to know that her body was still laying in there at the night, the whole night of the Grammys. I was upset about that. I do have a question here from Jackson Street 2300. How does Leolah feel about the way Bobby Kristina Homecoming was presented?
What? Say that again?
How do you feel about the way that Bobby Kristina's Homecoming was presented?
Homecoming? You mean you talking about that bus pad?
I believe that's what she's talking about. Yeah.
Pat partied. That was a celebration for Pat because, like I said, when Bobby Kristina was in hospice, where she should have never been, she should have never made it to hospice. She should have never went to hospice. The doctors told us that Bobby Kristina would be fine. And when they said that side panicked. They was whispering in secret, and this is what we, and I mean, and I'm gonna say this because it was very strange. Right after the doctors told us that Bobby Kristina would be fine, I saw Mama Sissy doing an interview with somebody, and they asked her about Chrissy, and she said, well, it is what it is, no, she's not doing good. And I wanted to say, I said, the doctors just told us she was doing fine. Why are you saying that? But I didn't know. I was like, what is going on with this family? Why are they not repeating what the doctors said to us? So it all made sense to me when Bobby was in the room with the doctors and him and Dr. Jolly showed them Chrissy was responding to all of the things that the doctor was doing. He said he showed them videos of a person that had their brain damaged way worse than Chrissy. He said, look at what I did for this person. Then he showed them how this person is up talking like you and me. He said, doctors, I can do this. He said, let me show you something. And he went to Chrissy's feet and did something. And Chrissy started responding. He said, all I need to do is one or two more, a couple more things, and she will be back 100%. And Bobby got up and said, please, yes, I want this man to do this for my daughter too. Yes. He said, doctor, and the doctors, they sat there and said, wow. Well, we can't say nothing. We're all for it then. Right. Pat jumped up. Pat Houston jumped up and said, no. I say, let's kill her. Let her die. Let her go. And everybody's looking at Pat like, what? Why was she in the goddamn room anyway? She is no relation to us. And the doctor said, well, Bobby, there's a 50-50. You all have 50-50 custody of her. What the hell? Where did this come from? Who gave that woman 50-50 custody over my niece, my brother's son? That's what I want to know. That is against the law. You cannot do that.
Yeah.
You cannot. Even Whitney had her will. Whitney's will stated, nobody in my family can be over my estate. So I guess they put Pat over it.
Oh.
Because she's not Whitney's family. Is that what y'all are doing? Man, they played so many games. Yes, Whitney's will says that. Nobody in her family can be over her estate. And she said, if they don't come to the proper conclusion, then they don't come to the proper conclusion, and it stands still, or whatever word she used. But nobody was supposed to be over her estate and her family. She said that, and they know it.
Oh, that's deep.
Yes, it's deep, man, and it's sad. It's sad. Like, you don't have 50, you're playing with somebody. Pat, let me tell you something. Baby, you're lucky it wasn't my child, because I'd have turned that hospital out. The hospital, none of y'all would have been able to stop me. See, I could not do that much, because that was my niece, and I was giving my brother his respect. But
Right.
damn it, Bobby knew. Man, I went crazy. You all don't understand. You don't know. I went crazy behind that, because Pat had no right to be there. It is against the law. You have no right to be nowhere near my niece. You're not blood at all. You're not even related to Whitney, really. You're not related to Whitney, but I'm saying, like, her brother is not even a Houston. He's a Garland. Y'all know. And her brother Michael wasn't even doing what you all trying to do.
And shout out to
Dr. Jolly. Dr. Jolly.
Yes, shout out to him.
He said, Lily, I stood up and I looked at her and said, if you let this baby die, he said, God will not. He said, you are a witch. He said, Lily, I never in my life called a woman outside her name. My mother didn't teach me to do that. He said, but sitting there and watching Pat's actions, he said, I got up and I looked her dead in her face and told her, God will not let you rest if you do this to this child. He said, what is wrong with you? Oh, she wouldn't want to live. She made up an excuse and said she knows Chrissy better than anybody. You don't know my niece better than nobody.
Wow.
Ooh, I wasn't there. I wasn't in that room when they did that. Dr. Jolly had to tell me that. But I was so upset. When y'all talk about, you looking at a person that, man, I can hurt some people. I can hurt some people. I mean, I was brought to that point where my brother even said it, hold Lily back, because I was ready to hurt somebody. My niece did not come home with us, and it was because of you. And see, I didn't know that this was going on in the room.
Oh, wow.
You understand?
Yes.
No, my brother Bobby was keeping stuff from us, not letting us know what was going on in that room. Oh my God, I didn't know. Yeah, Pat Houston made the decision to put Bobby Kristina to death by starvation. And let me tell you something. I don't know who gave her that power, but baby, when I tell you that God has to come for you.
Oh, yes.
Because you all did a very sinful thing. You took my niece's life cold-bloodedly. That was ugly. That was very ugly. And I'm still angry about it. Because that's cold-bloodedly. How can you do that? But I know why you did it. You did it because you wanted Whitney's estate. They wanted it. Like I said, they acted like they hit the lottery. When we got the news that Chrissy was gone, y'all should have seen them in hospice. It was like they hit the lottery.
Literally. Yeah.
And they couldn't wait to get out of there. They could not wait to get out of hospice to, where they didn't have to deal with nobody no more. We got Whitney's estate, but it ain't going to Bobby Kristina. We got it. That's what this is all about. That's what they wanted.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but God ain't gonna let them enjoy that money. No, not for too long.
Yeah.
How's Bobby doing, Leolah? He's good.
Huh?
How's Bobby doing? Is he good, Bobby?
My brother?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not doing good. Not at all. He has a wicked wife he's stuck with, and she was sent in the same way.
Oh, wow.
So, it is what it is. It is what it is.
Right.
Bobby is not, I don't know. I guess he's just in love and he doesn't see it. He doesn't want to see it. He knows. Bobby's a very wise man. He's very wise. He knows.
I saw some concert footage of him recently. He doesn't look well health wise.
He doesn't. He doesn't. He look. I mean, he don't even look like Bobby. Never mind, look like him. He don't even act like Bobby no more.
Mhm.
Bobby Brown. I mean, this woman is. Let me tell y'all something. She is doing a number on him. She is trying to tire out his heart so that he could just fall and pass out and be gone. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. God forbid anything happen to my brother. But if it does, watch her. Watch what she does. I'm not even going to say nothing. Bobby has a wicked wife, and he doesn't see it.
Mm.
He won't face it. He won't, he won't save himself. Save yourself, brother. You don't have to stay here and go through all of that. I got a phone call. I get phone calls all the time. Somebody called my phone 3 days ago and said, I just seen your brother in the airport with his wife. She was screaming to the top of her lungs. And Bobby had his head down and they were going up the escalator. And she disrespects him in public. I got some friends in Chicago, and I heard Lisa Ray even got on her about Bobby one time and told her. They said Lisa Ray said Bobby got some sisters that will tear you up about their brother.
And Lisa Ray's become mine. She's become mine.
And they were all sitting at a table, and it was Lisa Ray, Bobby, my sister Frenchie, and some other people at the table, they said Alicia walked in cussing at my brother, and they were like, "What are you doing that for?" And they told her then, this was a long time ago, but yeah, I don't get it, you all. I don't. I'm only trying to save my brother. I'm trying to save him from what I see coming. And I just pray that he's got to help save himself, though. I can't die and kill myself and stress myself out about worrying about you. You're a grown man.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. James, and some of the people in the chat are just saying, commenting to the things that we're talking about. They said, they saw, I guess, some of the same footage that I witnessed, where he just looks out of breath. He looks miserable, really. I mean, he's trying to tour with New Edition, but he just looks like he just can't.
I know, because she won't let him rest. She will not let him rest. She's just tired. Bobby has a bad heart. When you have a bad heart, you need rest. And not only do you need rest, you have to have people around you that are positive, that are not trying to argue with you all the time. She's very argumentative. She's very controlling. And she just wants to dominate everything. You understand what I'm saying? She wants to be that. She wears the pants in their relationship.
Right.
And that's a no-no. You don't do that to a man. You don't do that. And then you disrespect him in public?
Yeah. Sounds like he's just, sometimes, particularly if you look at everything, all the loss that he's dealt with, sometimes people just give up. They're not strong enough to fight. You understand what I mean?
Right.
It's like, so just say, hey, whatever happens, happens. They're tired.
Right.
Yep,
they're tired. Yep. But I just hope there's nobody around my brother that really cares for him. None of them.
That's sad.
You got people around him, like the girl Chocolate or Brown, that's calling herself a Brown, but she gets on the phone every chance she gets and calls everybody, telling them everything that Bobby and Whitney are doing. I mean, Bobby and Alicia are doing. And people are talking everywhere. They just gave her some big birthday party, and she's like a big hater of Alicia's. She does not. She's the one that's actually giving everybody information. This girl Chocolate that hangs around him, and she's the main person that she hates Alicia. She tells everybody, I hate her, I can't stand her, but she pretends that she likes her. When she's around her, right, to get the information and stuff. And then Bobby's wife goes and hires and fires everybody on his team. Not Bobby, but Alicia. I'm like, so we're looking back saying, wow, she don't even know. She's firing the wrong people. The ones that's giving out the information, she just bypassing them. It's
Wow.
crazy. It's crazy.
So do you still have access to him? Like if you call, can you talk to him on the
I
telephone?
can call Bobby anytime I want. I was getting ready to fly and go to his house. I got his address,
Right.
his phone number. I can go to his door, and I intend to. I
Wow.
intend to.
And I
I'm
just
gonna
want to
surprise
clarify,
him.
Bobby, we love you, and your sister loves you tremendously, and we thank you again, Leolah. We got to respect the guest time.
Oh
and,
yes. We can talk forever.
Hopefully you come on the show again.
Yes, what time is it? We only 15 minutes there. Okay. Yeah, we got to do a longer,
Okay.
weekend.
So you can
We
come
can
on and talk to
definitely
us
book that.
again.
Yes.
We could definitely book that. You know, I got your
Thank
number,
you,
so
guys. Yep.
yes, no, thank you.
You know,
You're
you
a
can
woman
call
of
me
your word.
anytime.
Thank
She's
you
a woman
so
of her
much.
word. Yes,
Yes.
woman of her word. So thank you, Leolah. Thank
You
you
are
to
so
all the
welcome.
supporters in
Thank
the
you,
chat.
guys.
We
We love
appreciate
y'all.
you.
Thank you
We
so
love you.
much.
Thank
I
you
love
so
you
much.
too. I love you guys too, and I appreciate you too.
Okay. Take care.
Thank you, sir. Thank
All
you.
right.
Let us know how Bobby's doing.
Thank you, guys. That's to
you.
everybody listening. Thank you. You all have a wonderful day.
Yes, ma'am. You too.
All righty.
Bye. See y'all later. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.